Good evening. Call to order the meeting of the Bristol, Virginia City Council. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. This time we'll have a moment of silent prayer. Please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening. It's great to see a good crowd out tonight. I just have a few comments I'd like to make. First, I'd like to thank everyone that came out for the Memorial Day celebration that we had, or Remembrance Day at Cumberland Park. We had a wonderful crowd. I wish there would have been a ton more. I know it was kind of raining, so some maybe just watched the live stream, but thank you to everyone that joined us. It's so important for us to come together and to honor the brave men and women who sacrificed everything for our country. And so if you were not able to join us, I hope that in some way you thought about them in spirit, and we'll continue to do that. Last Friday night, several of us attended the graduation of Virginia High School. I'd like to say congratulations to all of our 2025 graduates. I'll tell you, they've got a great class and a lot of bright futures. I hope a lot of them will come back after they go to college or get whatever training they're wanting to do, or maybe some's already entering the workforce, but I hope they stick around and stay here in Bristol. Third, it was great to see that our Virginia Task Force Swiftwater Rescue Team was recognized today by Congressman Griffith, and I was not able to attend that, and I know the Vice Mayor and some others were able to, and I'll let them talk about that. But it's always a great thing when we can recognize them as well as everyone else. It's important to recognize our first responders. So again, thank you for the work that they did, and especially during the Hurricane Helene and Winter Storm response. So it was truly remarkable. And then finally, the Bristol, Virginia Police Department has launched an app, a 411 app. And so last year they launched a tip 411 that you could call, and it enables the public to send text messages or just give an anonymous tip to police. And then the officers can respond back in real time and have a two-way conversation if needed. And I think it's really important that we get the word out about this tip line. I think it's a great opportunity for us. I know sometimes I'll get a call and said, who should I call if I want to tell someone something anonymous? And I'm like, well, I already know it's you. But it's okay. I think it's important to let everybody know. And I know Detective Lieutenant Crawford's here. Would you like to say a few words about that? Sorry to put you on the spot, but if you would come up and just talk a little bit about that, I think it would be good.
Thanks. I just want to let you know we're excited about this because there's so many times that we rely on the public so heavily for information, but we just can't get that anonymous call. We tell people anonymous, but they just won't call. But this app, it puts them in the position where they can talk to me through a text or an officer through a text, and there's never a name given. It's only a number, and we can get stuff right away. And so far it's proven to be good, and we've been able to solve some crimes off of it. And I'm glad we got it, and I encourage the public to use it if it's available.
That's fantastic. So if you have a smartphone, you can download the app, right?
Yes, you can from the Apple App Store and the one from the
and
Google,
the app,
Google Play.
The app is Tip 411?
Well, for the Apple Store, it's Bristol VA PD.
Okay.
And then in the Google Play Store, it's Bristol PD, Bristol VA PD, one word. And it's a variation, but we have it on our Facebook page, the difference in them. And but both our patches on there, you can tell exactly what it's from.
Okay, and let's say if you don't have a smartphone, you still have a number people can call that's
Yes.
anonymous, right?
It's 87411, Bristol VAPD. You can text that way, and,
Okay,
but we'll get them, and it comes in as a tip. Like I said, a number, it doesn't give a name, doesn't give a location. I don't need that, I just need the information. Okay?
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing about that. I think that's really important, and it's a great opportunity for our residents to have that, because so many times they don't say anything. So if you see something, say something, send that tip in anonymously.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yep, thank you so much for the work that you all do. All right, I will now pass it along to any other comments from the council.
Well, I'll just, can you hear me?
Not really.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Technical difficulties. I just wanted to echo the mayor's comments about graduation. Congrats to the class of 2025. They did such a fantastic job. They had a full elementary, middle, high school career, and they're going to do such great things. I do want to point out we have Mr. Bill Hartley in the back. His son Wilson was our valedictorian this year, and I got to say his speech was probably one of the most unique and impactful speeches I've ever heard at a graduation. So I just really appreciated his words. And then also, as the mayor pointed out, Congressman Griffith was in Bristol today recognizing our swiftwater rescue team made up of firefighters and police officers from the city. He spoke on the House floor a couple months ago and put into the congressional record for all time, I guess, just the impact that our folks had on the region during the Helene hurricane, during the winter storms, just how they saved lives all across Southwest Virginia and just the impact that they've had. So I just appreciate him recognizing them officially up in D.C. And then also, I know at our last meeting, we mentioned that the town of Richlands also issued a proclamation thanking our folks for the work they did saving folks in the town of Richlands. So it's just great to see our team recognized for the great work they do.
Along those lines, the Southwest Virginia EMS Council has also been recognized recently with the Governor's Award for Excellence. And a lot of people aren't familiar with the EMS Council, but they do a lot of good for both our local EMS with the Bristol, Virginia Fire Department, but a lot of our surrounding areas. They cover this whole end of the state, providing a lot of resources, and they get grants for local EMS services, including the Bristol, Virginia Police Department. So it's nice to see two organizations that are based in Bristol and serve not only Bristol, but the whole area out of Bristol, and both of them getting recognized with these state and national recognitions.
All right, thank you. City manager comments.
Yes, council, just a couple of quick comments. The TIP app does work. I've submitted the TIP for the police department the other day, and I know Detective Crawford got that and passed that word along, so it does work. And I do want to talk about the Battle of the Badges blood drive. That is June 24th. We will actually be having the Battle of the Badges blood drive on our side of the state line this year. So it's imperative that everyone from Bristol, Virginia come out, give blood for the Battle of the Badges, and make sure you vote for Bristol, Virginia, and let's win this on our own home turf, and that's from 10 to 5 on June 24th.
All right, thank you. All right, next is adoption of agenda. Looking for a motion.
I move for the adoption of the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Pollard,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes. Okay, moving into item number 1 on the regular agenda, a proclamation honoring Brad Carter, also known as Bearcat Brad, for 25 years of dedicated service to Bristol, Virginia Little League. Randy, did you want to start us out with this?
Sure, I can start us out. Tonight, we want to recognize Brad Carter, also known as Bearcat Brad, for all the things that he does for youth here in our city of Bristol, Virginia. He has been a fixture of Bristol, Virginia Little League for 25 years. His voice is heard throughout every game, and we just want to thank him for all that he does. And we have a proclamation that we'll let council read into the record here shortly.
All right, thank you. And before we get into the proclamation, I also know there's the president and some board members here from Bristol, Virginia Little League. And so I'd like to ask if you would like to come forward and share any words.
I'm Tim Slagle. I've served on the board at Bristol, Virginia Little League for several years. I want to thank the city for recognizing Brad for what we already knew. Brad is a dedicated volunteer for 25 years, consecutive years. He's been there. You can depend on him. He does a great job, but he doesn't just announce the games. Brad's our bookkeeper. He keeps the scoreboard, and he keeps all us in line. He doesn't just do it for Bristol Little League. He's at every Virginia High sporting event. Pretty much anything that the city of Bristol, Virginia hosts, Brad is there. Brad is a fine citizen of Bristol, Virginia. He's an asset to our community. And I don't know where our league would be without Brad, but I'm going to stop right now and ask a favor. I know that the mayor has one of these. It's probably the only one that there is in existence, but I want a Brad Carter autographed baseball. We're going to put this baseball in the press box in the case, and if he'll autograph that for me,
That's
we'll
perfect.
get on with it.
All right.
That sounds good. I'm always prepared, that's you.
Oh, he's got his Sharpie. If anybody needs an
I
autograph.
appreciate the
afterwards.
city for recognizing Brad.
Yep.
Brad does a great job for our league, and I appreciate the city for what y'all do for our league as well. We're still a work in progress, but y'all do a great job, and we thank you for that.
There you go. All right.
That's big right there.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you to Tim, and also I know the league president, Gross Close, is here as well, and we appreciate you all being here and coming to support Brad, but also all the work that you all do in the city, because it is volunteers, and it's so important. So thank you, and thank you for those words. So I have a proclamation I'd like to read, and then we'll take a vote on it, okay, before we present it. So, a proclamation honoring Brad Carter, also known as Bearcat Brad, for 25 years of dedicated service to Bristol, Virginia Little League. Whereas Brad Carter, affectionately known throughout the community as Bearcat Brad, has selflessly dedicated 25 years of service to the youth of Bristol, Virginia through his tireless involvement in Bristol, Virginia Little League. And whereas during his quarter century of service, Mr. Carter has been a constant and enthusiastic presence at the ball field, serving as the iconic voice of the Little League games, announcing countless lineups, scores, and memorable moments with energy, professionalism, and unwavering spirit. And whereas his distinctive voice, positive attitude, and deep love for the game have inspired generations of young athletes, coaches, and families, and created a cherished tradition for the Bristol community. And whereas Bearcat Brad has contributed to the unique identity of Bristol Little League's culture, fostering a welcoming environment that celebrates sportsmanship, community pride, and youth development. And whereas the city of Bristol, Virginia wishes to publicly recognize and commend Brad Carter for his outstanding commitment, leadership, and volunteerism that have enriched the lives of so many in our city. And therefore, be it proclaimed by the City Council of Bristol, Virginia, that the City of Bristol, Virginia does hereby honor and express its deepest gratitude to Bearcat Brad Carter for 25 years of exceptional service to Bristol, Virginia Little League, and proclaims him as a true ambassador of community spirit and youth athletics. Be it further proclaimed that this proclamation be entered into the official records of the City Council, and that June 2nd, 2025 be declared Bearcat Brad Day in the city of Bristol, Virginia. Yeah. And I will say, also, well, first, let's get this approved, and then I want to make a few more comments, and then I'll call you up. So I'm looking for a council motion and second to pass this proclamation.
I move for approval of the proclamation as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yeah. What can I say about Bearcat Brad that has not already been said? Brad is at every single Virginia High sporting event that every time the doors open, he's there. Every time there's a city event, he's there. Every time the city needs a booster in general, Brad will defend us right till the very end. And he is a wonderful asset to, obviously, the Little League, but he's a wonderful asset to the city. And I am so appreciative for you, Brad. And we're so grateful that we have you here.
Yeah, just to thank you, Brad, for all your time, all your dedication to everything here in Bristol. We really appreciate you.
Brad, you're truly one of a kind. We appreciate all you do and just your enthusiasm, your spirit. Just you're the city, the students of the city, the athletes of the city, the biggest cheerleader for everybody. And not only the Bearcats, but also I've seen you at several Bristol rhythm games too, learning soccer as well. So you're at everything. So you do it all. So thank you.
I may not have been here as long as a lot of other people have. I moved to Bristol 20 years ago, and in that time, it's been very clear that you are the human form mascot for the city of Bristol, Virginia, and we really appreciate you.
All right, well, thank you all. And I will say, I'd like to acknowledge that former Vice Mayor Fred Ballman is here with us tonight, and I know Fred has been instrumental over many, many years with Bristol Little League, and even has a field with his name on it. So it's great to see you, and also anyone else from the Little League. And then also Brenda Carter, Brad's mom, is here tonight. So thank you for being here tonight, Brenda, to see this special honor. So with no further remarks, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Farnham.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nave.
Yes. So Brad, I'd like for you to come up and accept this proclamation. Anybody from the Little League would like to join us? Anybody from the Little League that would like to join us? Come on up. Come on up. Can you get us all in there? Can you squeeze together all over your friends? Get in here. Oh, we got it? Okay. All right. Congratulations, Brad.
I'm so glad y'all did my day and night and everything. Good thing, I'm glad y'all were here. Brad, good seeing you. Yeah, I hope I can keep it at a break. I'm a fixture, you know me. I'm not going anymore. Okay, thank you, guys.
All right. Congratulations again, Brad, and thank you for all that you do. All right. Moving into item number 2, invitation to bid Stage 2 landfill gas collection and control system, SW-25-002. Looking for a staff report from Tamara.
The invitation to bid for Stage 2 landfill gas collection and control system SW-2502 was issued on February 18th, 2025, with sealed bids due not later than 2 p.m. on April 17th, 2025. Addendum 1 was published on April the 7th, 2025 to address inquiries and provide updated forms. Addendum 2 was published on April 7th to update the bid form. The invitation to bid was advertised on the city's website and Virginia's electronic procurement website, EVA. 2 sealed bids were received. After review of the bids received by the city, Harnden Group LLC was deemed the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. So staff recommends that council authorize the city manager or his designee to enter into a contract with the Harnden Group per the invitation to bid.
All right, looking for a council motion and second.
I move for approval of the item as presented.
Second.
All right, any council discussion?
I am glad to see that we had 2 bids on this. We have had far too many times where we've only had 1 bidder, and that was our engineering company. This means that we are being taken more seriously by the various contracting firms, and it means that we tend to get better responses at better pricing for us, which benefits all the residents of the city.
I have a question just for general information for the public. Can you all tell us a little bit about the Harnden Group?
They're a group out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and they will be working with several subcontractors to do a lot of the work located at the landfill.
Well, as Mr. Pollard
They've been in
said-
business. They've done a lot of projects in Virginia. I have their bid list here and what they've done. Well, I don't know if I have it in here. Yeah, but they've done projects at landfills throughout Virginia.
As Mr. Pollard said, it's exciting to have a bid that we're going to enter into a contract with that's a new person. You know, it's always good when you have a large project like this that's ongoing and will be ongoing for a long time to sometimes get different sets of eyes on it. So excited to work with them.
I think it's important for us to, just think about that we're still working on this, we're still talking about this, we're still doing projects, because I have ran into some people in the city who have said, well, I know the landfill's closed, I haven't smelled it in a while, so everything must be done, right? It must be finished. So I think it's important to note that there are still projects going on, people working over there every day, and I think when we talked about the budget this year, we said the landfill was going to roughly cost us around $9 million. I think that's important for every citizen to understand, that it's just because the gate's closed over there doesn't mean it's finished and we don't have to think about it ever again.
Yep.
And I
Thank
would
you.
clarify, that's at least $9 million this year, and there'll be ongoing expenses every single year. And just so the public knows, this bid was a $4,026,210 bid, so it's no small project by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Yeah, I too think it's important to note that this is probably one of many bids we're going to continue to have to look at in the future. We don't know what the total cost is going to be, and may never know. We just know that it's an ongoing project. We're continuing to work on it as hard as we can go, and it's taken a lot of our money. That it's important to get it fixed, but it's a process. And so thank you for your work on getting this bid and for everything you all have done with it. So with no further discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nate.
Yes. All right, next, presentation of March 31st, 2025 financial information. Tamara?
Thank you. Mayor Nave and members of council, this is the financial information for the quarter ended March 31st, 2025. This information is prepared on the cash basis and is unaudited. So the general fund summary, with a budget of $91.6 million, revenues of just over $78 million, 85% of budget, expenditures of $59.2 million, 65% of budget, for a balance of $18.8 million, a surplus there of $18.8 million. And of the revenues the city has received, $15.7 million are related to the DEQ funding of the landfill remediation efforts. And if those revenues were removed, that fund surplus reduces down to $3.107 million, which is very comparable to the prior year surplus. And the budget amount of the revenue reduces, if you backed that state landfill money out, from 85% to 68%. And this is trending down due to the beginning balance funds that we use for the landfill projects. These monies have not been moved due to the timing of certain landfill projects and the related debt service expenditures. And beginning balance funds moved at March 31st were 38% of budget. So just some clarification there. This is what our general fund revenue looks like. Local revenue, shown in blue, makes up 60% of general fund receipts. It is 77% of the general fund budget. And state revenue, shown in red, makes up 37% of general fund receipts. And state revenue is 19% of budget. And that is that variance there is due to the landfill funding we've received. Federal revenue, shown in green, makes up 3% of the general fund budget, and it is 4% of the budget. So our financial data graphs, the graphs compare actual revenues over a period of time. Fiscal year 21 is shown in gray, 22 is shown in yellow, 23 is shown in red, 24 is shown in green, and 25 is in blue. So local sales and use tax are up across all periods, and this is good news for the city of Bristol. The cigarette taxes are down from all years except for 2023. The lodging taxes are up from all years presented, even backing out the rate increase. And the meals taxes are also up from all years presented, once again, even backing out the rate increase there. The general fund expenditure update, if all expenditures were paid evenly throughout the year, the benchmark at March 31st would be 75%. So government administration is at 70%. Judicial administration is at 71%. Public safety is at 75%. Public works is at 46% expended. And once again, that is because the landfill solid waste is now reported in public works, and just the timing of some of those large budgeted projects. We haven't begun the projects yet, so the timing of the expenditures is down. Health, welfare, and social services is at 63%. Education is at 67%. Parks, recreation, and cultural is at 67%. Community development is at 67%. Non-departmental is at 84% of budget, and that is up due to the timing of our insurance payments. We pay those at the beginning of the fiscal year. So that category trends up for the remainder of the year till we get to the end. Debt is at 84%, and that is based on the timing of our debt payments that are due, and our transfers are at 70%. So total expenditures, again, $59.2 million, 65% of budget. This is what our general fund expenditure looks like, how the city's money in the general fund is expended. Public safety is 25% of all expenditures. Public works is at 19%, and once again, that's because solid waste is now in public works. Debt is at 12%, and the solid waste debt is now reported in the general fund as well. Health, welfare, and social services is at 12%. Education is at 10%. Government administration is 7% of expenditures. Transfers, 5% of expenditures. Parks, recreation, and cultural, 4%. Judicial administration, 3%. Community development, 2%. And non-departmental, 1%. The Falls Phases 2 and 3 update. Budgeted revenues for Falls Phases 2 and 3 are $1.181 million. The actual revenues received through March 31st are actually $1.108, 94% of budget. And you can see that we've received over 100% of the personal property there. And local sales and use tax is at 89%, restaurant meal tax is at 85%, so pulling that category up there, pulling the revenues up there. The debt allocated to the Falls is $2.16 million, and the budgeted deficit is just under $1 million, and the actual result through March is a deficit of just over $1 million. There are no principal amounts due on the debt this year, So what you see there is entirely interest. So the deficit budgeted for fiscal year '25 is smaller than it has been in prior years. The debt service presentation, this is the city's planned debt service schedule. This schedule does include the 2023 bond anticipation notes for the landfill projects paying off in 2028 without being refinanced. This will be a challenge for the city. You can see here the debt escalation and the use of committed reserve funds to offset the escalation, with additional monies being needed for fiscal year 2026. The bond anticipation notes are callable in this fall, so fall of 2025, and if they are paid off, then the debt service payments, the interest payments required for the second half of the fiscal year will go down. And that is the plan that Mr. Eads and I are working on, along with the financial advisors. And if we're able to do that, that will save some of those committed reserve funds for future use. So that is our plan. So the interim borrowing really negatively impacted our debt plan. The reserves were originally estimated to carry the city into fiscal year 2028. That being said, the plan right now is that we're working on is to save some of those reserve funds for future use. That being said, this is the city's written debt service plan. Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving into ordinances, second reading. Budget ordinance for year 2025, 2026. No one has signed up for public comment. I'll turn it over to Randy.
Council, pursuant to Section 10.03 of the City Code of Bristol, Virginia, on April 8th, 2025, I submitted my annual budget estimate for fiscal year 25-26, including a bound document detailing the proposed budget ordinance and other required information. Tonight is the second reading of the budget ordinance, and if passed tonight, the budget will be effective July 1, 2025. Previous relevant action has been that the City Council held a public hearing on the budget appropriation ordinance on April 22nd, 2025. The notice of public hearing for the 25-26 budget appropriation ordinance was published in the Bristol Herald-Courier on Saturday, April 12th, 2025, and the first reading of the budget ordinance was May 13th, 2025, and passed on a vote of 4-1. Over the past several weeks, we have had some discussions in regards to changes in the budget and where funding should be placed. The first is we have the library joint operating expense. That's a $9,482 change, and that is to cover some insurance costs that we need to cover that was not originally in the budget when we presented it. Next, in economic development activities, we will be taking approximately $130-some thousand from economic development activities and placing those over in the streets and engineering divisions for an assistant public works director, and you can see where those changes are made there. If council agrees with these changes, please make the motion that you'd approve the budget with the administration recommended budget changes.
All right. So looking for a motion and a second before we get into council discussion, full or by caption.
I move for second reading of the budget by caption only with the administration recommended changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion with the changes and second, and I'm assuming that's by caption?
By caption only.
By caption only, okay. Moving into council discussion.
I'll take the first stab at this. Thank you to city staff for your work on this. I know since I've been here, city budgets are not easy, and I'm sure they weren't before I got here. There's a lot of moving pieces, but there's also a lot of issues that we have to tackle as a city that we've got to balance with funding that comes directly from our citizens' pocketbooks. And so it does make these decisions very difficult, but I appreciate the work you all have put into finding a measured approach to move forward. I will say that there's a lot of good things in this budget, even if we've had to be cautious in some areas. I will say that our first responders are getting some attention. We all want to be able to call 911 and get somebody to answer, get somebody to show up to the home, to the house, and check on your loved ones, and making sure that we're funding our first responders appropriately, adequately, I think is the word that's been tossed around, I think is important. This budget does that. Our police are seeing a bump, our firefighters are definitely seeing a bump, and that is going to keep trained professionals in this city taking care of our neighbors, our family, our friends. And it's also going to ensure that we can hire new folks as we need to. And I think that's important. I grew up in the county. I grew up in Washington County over in Damascus. And when you called 911, you had incredible professionals that came, but they were volunteer. There's a time delay. There is just a whole nother dynamic with the volunteer department. Great folks that work there. I think very highly of them, but it's also a very different dynamic than living in the city. And the folks that live here depend on our fire, our police, our EMS to do their jobs and do it well, and they do that, and we want to make sure we stay that way. So I think that's very important. And then also, as has been mentioned a couple times in various parts, the landfill, that is a tremendous financial burden on the city, on the citizens of this city. But we've got to do what's right. We've got to do the job there and get it done and knocked out. There's been hiccups along the way as we've learned how to do things, as we developed new technology that the experts told us would hopefully work, and we've worked through it. Our staff has been phenomenal with that, and that's just another huge facet of this budget and just the burden that the city faces. And so as a city, our citizens expect certain services, certain reliability pieces, like they want roads they can drive on, they can park on. They want working infrastructure. We've got to deliver that, and I think this budget does that. There is a tax increase attached to it. That does hurt. That does impact folks. That is not taken lightly. But it's also, we have a responsibility here, and we've got to balance that. So I think a yes vote on this budget is showing our citizens we're looking towards the future. We're looking at providing services the way we're supposed to, especially emergency services. So I just thank you all. Thank staff. Thank council members that will vote for this. I think this is a good step.
I'll jump in very briefly. I'll echo some of the vice mayor's comments. And first I want to say thank you to our assistant city manager, CFO, and obviously our city manager for their work, as well as the department heads on getting this budget together. A lot of good in this budget, a whole lot of good. But as is the case, every April, May, June, budgets are hard in Bristol. Budgets can be very difficult here. We carry a tremendous amount of debt, and there's always tough decisions that have to be made with where money goes. We have finite money, and how do we spend that, and how do we move forward? And I think that the hard work that's been put into this budget this year, making everything balanced, making everything work, while giving our city employees a well-deserved pay raise as costs continue to rise in the world. We're not immune to that, so we're helping our city employees. We're supporting our public safety workers and getting them to the pay they need to be. So, no budget is perfect, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good, and I think the work of the staff who have put this together and made it happen, and hopefully it'll pass tonight, and we'll move forward on July 1st working under this budget.
Yeah, not to repeat everything that you all have already mentioned, but I do think, as the vice mayor mentioned, it's important that people expect a certain level of service when it comes to our first responders here in the city, and they expect our infrastructure, our roads, our sidewalks, our parks. Everything has a cost to it, and we know there's a cost to the landfill, and there's a cost to the falls, and then there's other things. This year, the school system said they needed more funding, and it costs money to house inmates, and if we have 100 inmates, that's a cost. But if we have 200 or 250, that's an incredible cost. So there's, health insurance for all of our employees increased this year. There are certain costs that some we have no control over, but we have to be able to pay the bills. And, it's something, we do every year to figure out the budget, our plan for the next year in order to make sure we can pay all of those bills. So it's a process. It's a tedious, it's a really in-depth, detailed, time-consuming process. So thank you to all the city staff that put in all the hours and hours to work the numbers and get it where it balances at the end. And I do agree with you, Mr. Holmes, saying a vote for it is, looking into the future, knowing we've got issues we need to work on, but we also got a lot of great things going on in the city too. So excited about that. So thank you.
All right, I'll just add, thank you. Thank you for your hard work on this. I know it's been months and months of trying to balance this budget. There's not going to be a budget that everyone's going to think is perfect and we get everything we want in it. And I think, though, for what we're working with, for the amount of the debt we have, the money that we have coming in, it's the best of the worst situation, and honestly. You all have been so good at good stewards of the taxpayers' money and doing the best you can with it. And I think that shows if you look back in the past history over the years, and I certainly appreciate that. I think it was important to most of us up here that we get those bumps needed for our first responders, for the police and the fire. We've got to take care of them, but they are the ones on the front line who really take care of our community. And we wanted to make sure that we show them that and we keep them. It's important for retention. There's been a time that we have had many openings across the board. So I am thankful and that we have such a wonderful staff in place in both of those. I know that we are changing around some funds as far as for the economic development piece, and that was something also that I was hopeful to have in there, and I know we're going to keep working towards that for the fall to increase our economic development activities. It's important, another important piece that we desperately need to draw in more businesses to the area. We have a great thing going and great staff in place, but we just need more of it. So thank you all so much for all the time and hours you've put in crunching numbers and trying to meet all the needs, and making sure also our departments have what they need. Our departments have been great about the department heads. They haven't come out with crazy requests because they know that we do not have the funding. So I appreciate them really looking at it and saying, this is kind of the bare minimum of what we need, knowing what we're working with on our budget. So I appreciate them doing that. So thank you all. All right, with no further discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Pollard,
No.
Nave.
Yes. Okay, reading of ordinance.
Budget ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026. Appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 in the following amounts. General Fund, $95,298,016. Community Development Block Grant Fund, $321,000. Local Funded Capital Projects Fund, $2,506,845. State and Federal Funded Capital Projects Fund, $7,986,590. Commonwealth Attorney Federal Revenue Sharing Fund, $132,736. Transit Enterprise Fund, $947,506. Flexible Spending Fund, $80,283. Asset Forfeiture Fund, $126,600. School Operating Fund, $49,212,323. School Textbook Fund, $1,245,663. School Nutrition Fund, $2,985,174. School Local Capital Projects Fund, $1,283,272. School Construction Fund, $1,661,069. School Activities Funds, $1,206,901. And regulating payments out of the city treasury, and also fixing the tax rate on real and personal property for fiscal year 2026.
All right, thank you. Now, looking for a council motion and second for adoption.
I move for adoption of the budget as presented with the administration recommended changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
No.
Nave.
Yes. All right, next item is matters to be presented by members of the public for non-agenda items, and we do not have anyone signed up tonight, so we will move into the consent agenda. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't. Okay, I'll let you come up. Yeah, you're supposed to fill out a form at the beginning of the meeting to sign up and give it to the clerk. Okay, you have 3 minutes. You state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. You'll have a green light and then a yellow warning light, and red means your time is up.
Well, I think I'm going to need more than 3 minutes, and I hope it's going to...
You have 3 minutes. If you'll state your name and address as you begin.
My name is Curtis Mink. I live at 17926 Glenwood Drive in Abingdon, Virginia, 24211. Tonight, I'm coming here as a Bristol Life Saving Crew member, a life member, a paramedic, giving service to this city, riding around that green white ambulance for 39 years, 49 years in EMS. And stuff that, just there, whatever, I come to give some bad news for the citizens of Bristol, Virginia, and for you and the council. First, I'm going to educate a little bit. It doesn't bother me to a certain extent, but it does in a way. You all, for 78 years, have got service for EMS that you have never put any money in. Not a bit, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to put that across the whole state of Virginia, there's only two other rescue squads that gets treated like that. And when you hear this, people go, what? How in the world? And it is. I don't understand. You don't know how much the Bristol Life Saving Crew for 78 years has saved you millions and millions of dollars. Tonight, I'm coming to you with some very bad news. That free service that the Bristol Life Saving Crew is giving is running out. I'm going to give you one example of my audit from last year in 2024. We came up short $137,000. Thank God for years ago we set up a mutual fund and we had investments that made that we were able to draw out that year. That's also happened for about 4 or 5 other years. Now, Curtis, you want to say, how does that happen? It's exactly how it happened. Just like everybody else, volunteerism is gone. We have a total of, we are very fortunate, a lot of rescue squads are not having enough people to answer the calls. We're not that unfortunate on that. We have 33 employees right now, and that's a mixture of career versus volunteer. That's not the problem. It's our funding and our financing. We get money from probably 3 different things: our major billing, Medicare. Second one is our little letter fund drive we do, get about $24,000 or so from that. And then we've been very fortunate, at least a couple times of the year, that we'll get an estate something or private donations that come in. And we also, thank goodness for, we've had a casino that gave us some money. And we always have a United Way at Christmas time that gives us some money. United Way's been doing it, United Coal Company's been doing that for years. Just getting the casino on, and they did that to us for this time. That helped us for a couple, 2 or 3 months. But what's happened is we just can't keep drawing. We can't keep drawing. So you have to have the career people in there. Next is their income. And then the third thing, when you all got in the EMS business back in 2018, that took money from the Bristol Lifesaver Group. And that was probably one of the other final things that's been devastating. In 2017, I was on the budget committee, and we hit our budget right almost on the dollar. We actually made $38,000 at the end of the year. That's never happened ever since. So you can't keep drawing from your kitty and keep drawing from kitty and keep kitty. That's what's happened.
Thank you for your presentation. If you want to finish just your last thoughts on that and wrap it up, because 3 minutes is what we allow.
Give me 3 more minutes.
No, not 3 more, but if you'll just finish this up, and we can follow up afterwards, because I don't think I've had any information on this before.
Well, that's the reason I'm coming to you tonight.
Thank you.
We'll give the citizens enough notice. This is a very serious thing. We hope that we can stay in business for another 90 days. We hope that. I don't know what kind of mayhem that's going to cause, but it's going to be bad, I'm afraid. And I wish I had better news. But we have done everything to try to stop this. We've downsized our service, we've sold this, we've cut here, we've cut there, and it's still not working. And so we want you all to be aware of that. Now, I'm saying that we need you all to write a check. I don't personally think so. The board has wanted me to come and recommend that you form an EMS committee. And in that EMS committee, have a certain number of people within the city. You sit down and meet and report back to you all, and then like 30, the next year council meeting.
Thank you.
I thought that was really good, that you try something like it. Something has got to be done, or we'll have no choice but to close our doors in probably 90 days or less.
All right.
So there's your notice if something like that.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, and I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, moving into G, the consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda in full.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nave.
Yes. And looking for a motion and second for adjournment.
I move that we now adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nave.
Yes, we are adjourned.